Have you ever wondered if your daily habits are silently stealing your vitality as you age? After 70, seemingly harmless routines, like skipping exercise, eating like you did decades ago, or brushing off small health concerns, can quietly erode your health, independence, and zest for life. The truth is, these habits, once reliable, may now be accelerating your aging process, dimming your mental sharpness, and limiting your freedom. But here's the good news. You can take control and transform your golden years into a time of strength and confidence. In this video, we uncover 6 surprising habits you should rethink after 70, not because society says so, but because letting them go can unlock a more vibrant, fulfilling life. From avoiding muscle-strengthening activities to shying away from technology, these patterns are more common than you think, and they're holding you back. You'll discover practical, easy-to-apply strategies to shift these habits, backed by real stories of people like George, 78, and Susan, 72, who reclaimed their energy and independence. Watch until the end to recognize these pitfalls in your own life and learn how small changes can restore your physical strength, mental clarity, and emotional balance. Whether you're 70 or beyond, this video is your guide to aging with purpose and power. Don't miss out. Subscribe, hit the bell, and let's dive into a healthier, more empowered you. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Number 1. Avoiding muscle-strengthening activity. It's all too common for older adults, particularly after 70, to believe that slowing down is a safer way to live, that reducing physical effort somehow shields them from harm. This may seem reasonable at first glance. After all, as we age, our joints may start feeling a bit stiffer, and our balance isn't what it once was. Lifting anything heavier than a grocery bag can feel daunting. You might even feel a bit more vulnerable, and the instinct to protect yourself from potential injury grows stronger. So, it's easy to think that less movement equals more safety. But in reality, this thinking couldn't be further from the truth. Skipping out on muscle-strengthening activities is one of the quickest and most devastating ways to lose your freedom, your physical independence, and your overall quality of life. Muscles are not just for power, they are the foundation of everything we do. They're essential for survival. As we get older, particularly after 70, muscle loss accelerates, a condition known as sarcopenia. And while the process can be gradual, without a conscious effort to counteract it, the deterioration becomes inevitable. But here's the thing. You don't have to be training like an athlete or hitting the gym for hours every day. That's not the goal. The real secret is keeping your muscles engaged. Even simple, moderate forms of resistance training, using your body weight, a set of light dumbbells, or a resistance band, can work wonders. The key is consistency. The kind of intentional movement that might seem insignificant at first glance, like standing up from a chair without assistance, walking, or lifting a light bag, is the very thing that preserves your strength and independence. Let me tell you about George. At 78, George had become increasingly afraid to exercise after he suffered a minor fall a few years ago. He thought that by avoiding movement, he was protecting himself from further injury. But his fears led him down a path of inactivity. He stuck to the couch, took only short walks, and did routines that felt safe, staying far away from anything that might push him physically. However, when he finally saw a physical therapist, he learned something that changed his perspective. Inactivity was doing him far more harm than any exercise ever could. George began with just 5 minutes of simple strength exercises, standing up from a chair without using his arms, lifting cans of soup, and working on his balance by standing on one foot near the kitchen counter. These were not complicated movements. They were simple, basic movements, but they made a world of difference. In just 2 months, George noticed his legs feeling stronger, and most importantly, his confidence began to return. There's something incredibly empowering about moving your body with intention. It's not just about improving mobility, it's about regaining self-respect and independence. Imagine the confidence of knowing that you can rise from bed without hesitation, walk through the grocery store without relying on a cart, or lower yourself to the floor to play with your grandchildren, and most importantly, get back up without struggle. That sense of freedom comes from strength, and here's the beautiful truth. You don't need hours of exercise each day to achieve it. A handful of simple, consistent movements can begin to restore what time has tried to erode. But the problem is, muscle loss happens so quietly. It's insidious. It doesn't hurt. Not at first. The early signs are subtle: losing your breath more quickly, struggling with stairs, or needing to push yourself up from a chair with your arms. These little signs creep in until one day, you realize it's harder to do the things you used to take for granted. The sooner you catch it, the easier it is to turn things around. It's never too late to start. You don't need fancy equipment, just the decision to prioritize maintaining your strength over the temptation to take it easy. Remember, true strength isn't just physical. It's the inner resolve to keep moving, to keep fighting for your freedom and independence, even when it feels easier to rest. You owe it to yourself, and you owe it to the people you love, to continue standing tall and strong for as long as possible. Number 2, eating the way you did in your 40s. Eating the same way you did in your 40s is an easy trap to fall into, especially as you get older. It feels familiar, comfortable, and safe. The same portions, the same meal routines, those comforting foods you've enjoyed for years, they've been there for you. But here's the truth. Just as we don't wear the same clothes we did in our youth, our bodies no longer function the same way they did decades ago. This routine, although soothing, may not be what's best for you anymore. Once you're over 70, your metabolism naturally slows down, and your digestive system doesn't work quite as smoothly as it once did. Nutritional needs shift in ways that we don't always immediately recognize. But here's the thing. So many people over 70 continue to eat the way they always have, eating not because they're hungry, but because it's familiar. It's what their body has become accustomed to. And that can lead to a creeping weight gain, exhaustion, and even blood sugar problems. I've seen it time and time again. The truth is, once you hit this stage in life, every single meal matters more than ever. It's not about depriving yourself. It's about recognizing the needs of your body in this season of life and treating it with the respect it deserves. You might not need the same large portions you once did, but your body now craves nutrient-rich, easy-to-digest foods that nourish your bones, your brain, and your energy levels. Gone are the days of loading up on heavy meats, refined carbs, or processed snacks. It's time to focus on smaller, more balanced meals, ones filled with fiber-packed vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats, and hydrating fruits. Think of it as a shift, not a sacrifice. It's not about going hungry. It's about nourishing yourself with what your body truly needs now. It's about honoring the wisdom of your years and listening to the deeper, quieter signals your body is sending you. Take Susan, for example. At 72, she never really thought about what she ate. She stuck to the 3 meals a day she had always known. But after a while, things started to change. She began to feel bloated after dinner, her afternoon energy slumped, and her clothes no longer fit quite right. Her doctor didn't scold her. Instead, he offered a gentle suggestion. Try cutting your portions just a little, add more vegetables, and listen to your body when it tells you it's full. Within weeks, Susan not only lost a few pounds but felt lighter, more energetic, and emotionally balanced in ways she hadn't in years. It wasn't a drastic diet. It was just a small change in how she approached her meals. And the results were life-changing. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. It's not about going on some drastic weight loss plan. It's about making thoughtful, sustainable changes. Just as you wouldn't wear shoes from your 30s, your eating habits need to evolve too. With age comes experience, and with that, a deeper understanding of what truly fuels us. The idea of eating less is not about restriction. It's about being wise and strategic about what you put into your body. It's about offering your body the nutrients it needs to thrive while cutting out the things that no longer serve you. And let's take a moment to talk about something important here. It's okay to create new eating habits at this stage of life. It's an act of self-love and self-care. You're not giving up on the joy of eating. On the contrary, you're building a healthier, more supportive relationship with food. You're learning what truly satisfies you, what energizes you, and what helps you feel your very best. Aging doesn't mean giving up on pleasure. It means becoming wiser, more attuned to your body's needs, and more deliberate in choosing the foods that will carry you through the next chapter of your life. And that's something truly beautiful. Number 3. Withdrawing from social connection. As we age, something insidious can creep in without us even noticing. Social isolation. It starts subtly, almost imperceptibly. Maybe you find yourself declining invitations more often, opting to stay home when you used to enjoy being out and about. Maybe you tell yourself that it's easier this way, that staying in feels more comfortable. And sure, there are legitimate reasons for this retreat, physical limitations or emotional fatigue, but over time, the quiet becomes too much. The familiar silence is no longer just peaceful. It starts to feel empty. The truth is, after 70, it can be shockingly easy to slip into this kind of isolation. It doesn't happen all at once, but little by little, you start to withdraw. You might feel like you have little to offer anymore, or maybe you notice that the phone calls or check-ins from loved ones aren't as frequent as they used to be. At first, you don't mind. You tell yourself, I'm content this way. It's okay to have some time alone. But deep down, you know that something's missing. The reality is harsh, yet undeniable. Loneliness isn't just an emotional state. It's a physical and mental health concern that can undermine your entire well-being. The research is clear. Being socially isolated can lead to serious health consequences. It doesn't just affect your mood. It affects your brain, your memory, and even your heart. Social interaction is like a vital nutrient for your mind. Without it, you lose something essential: connection. And the impact of this loss is profound. You see, casual chats with friends, a brief phone call with a loved one, or even just a shared laugh with a neighbor aren't just nice additions to your day, they are vital workouts for your brain. These exchanges keep you mentally sharp, emotionally balanced, and they affirm your worth as a person. Without these, your mind begins to turn inward in ways that don't nurture your soul. Let me tell you about Margaret. At 76, she found herself pulling away from her social circle after her husband passed away. At first, she thought she just needed time to grieve, a little space to heal. But that space grew longer and longer. Few months turned into years. Her world became smaller. She started to feel foggy, disconnected, and her zest for life began to slip away. Then her daughter gently suggested that Margaret join a weekly senior yoga class, just for a change of pace. Reluctantly, Margaret agreed. What Margaret wasn't prepared for was not the physical activity. It was the connection. The simple act of laughing with others before class, of sharing a few words about how everyone's week had been, brought an unexpected wave of joy and energy back into her life. She realized just how much she'd been missing. It wasn't just the movement that had a profound effect on her. It was the human connection. Being around others, even in small doses, reignited her spirit. She had been unaware of just how much loneliness had been draining her until she felt that warmth again, the warmth of connection. Now, I'm not suggesting you sign up for every social gathering or push yourself into loud, bustling events. That's not the point. What's important is finding little ways to stay in touch, to stay connected, and to allow your spirit to be nurtured by those around you. A regular phone call with a friend, a casual walk with a neighbor, a small community group at your church, or even an online group where you can share common interests. All of these are vital ways to maintain that connection. These moments are like emotional vitamins for your heart and mind. They remind you that you are not alone and that your presence matters. The danger of isolation is that it can feel comfortable. It's familiar. But there's a vast difference between enjoying your own company and disconnecting from the world around you. One replenishes your energy, the other slowly drains it. And it's important to recognize that even when you don't feel like you have much to give, you do. Your kindness, your humor, your wisdom, all of these things are priceless gifts to others. By reaching out, you're not just benefiting yourself. You're reminding someone else that they, too, are not alone in this world. You have so much to offer. Never forget that. Your presence is a gift. And through the smallest gestures, you can make a world of difference. Not just in your life, but in someone else's too. The more you connect, the more you strengthen not only your mind and body, but also the bonds that tie you to the world. These connections keep you vibrant, alive, and fully engaged in the beautiful journey of life. So, don't allow isolation to steal that from you. Reach out, stay connected, and keep nurturing the relationships that matter most. Number 4. Brushing off minor health issues. As we age, we often begin to downplay the little health issues that pop up, convincing ourselves that they're just a part of the aging process. A slight dizziness here, a bit of tightness in the chest there, or even feeling more fatigued than usual by mid-afternoon, things that might seem like nothing but a normal part of getting older. You think, oh, it's probably just age catching up with me. But here's the truth. Brushing off these minor symptoms can be one of the most dangerous habits we develop as we grow older. It's easy to fall into this trap. After all, no one wants to make a big deal out of small things, and you certainly don't want to worry your loved ones. You're tired of the constant doctor visits and the endless tests that feel like a never-ending cycle. So, you keep quiet, chalk it up to the inevitable march of time, and hope it passes. But what if this attitude is putting you at risk? What if these small signals are trying to tell you something important, something that could prevent much bigger health problems down the road? Our bodies become more fragile as we age. That's undeniable. But in some ways, they also become more attuned to us, sending out signals when something isn't right. These signals might be quieter than they once were, but they are no less important. That slight swelling in your ankles? It could be a warning from your heart, not just the result of standing too long. That occasional forgetfulness? It could be something far more serious than simply getting older. These are the subtle whispers of your body asking you to pay attention. The danger lies over time. The longer you ignore those signs, the harder it becomes to address them before they turn into something much more serious. Catching potential health issues early isn't a cause for panic. It's a cause for empowerment. Early detection means you have options, and that sense of control is priceless as we navigate the latter years of life. Let me tell you about Henry, a 74-year-old man who epitomized the "I'll be fine" mentality. He had always been tough, avoided doctors, and only went to the doctor when something was truly bothering him. For years, he dismissed those subtle changes, his vision blurring a little more each day, a tingling sensation creeping into his feet, as just part of getting older. It wasn't until his daughter urged him to see a doctor that he learned he had early-stage diabetes. Because he acted when he did, he was able to manage it with simple changes in diet and exercise. His doctor didn't sugarcoat it, though. Had he waited much longer, it might have been too late to turn things around. You are the expert on your own body. When something feels off, when that little voice inside you says, "This isn't right," you have every right to take it seriously. Not out of fear, but out of self-respect and responsibility. Not every health issue comes with glaring, flashing warning lights. Some creep in quietly, slowly, and unless we're paying attention, we risk letting them slip by unnoticed. So, if you're feeling something strange, don't just brush it off. Trust yourself. Your instincts are powerful. And if a doctor isn't listening or making you feel like your concerns are trivial, don't be afraid to ask more questions, seek a second opinion, or advocate for your health. You deserve to be heard, and you deserve to have the best quality of life possible. Don't wait for the signs to become emergencies. Act now. Your future self will thank you. Number 5. Depending on memory instead of writing things down. As we age, one of the most subtle yet dangerous habits that many of us fall into is depending too heavily on our memory. When we're younger, our memories are sharp, reliable, and we can juggle countless details without missing a beat. We remember birthdays, appointments, and medications like clockwork, without the need to jot anything down. For years, that works perfectly fine. But as the years go by, it's easy to keep relying on that same system, thinking that just because we've done it this way forever, it will continue to serve us well. However, the truth is that our brains don't work quite the same way once we reach our 70s. As we get older, short-term memory can become a bit more fragile. It doesn't mean something's wrong, but the reality is, the way our brains process and retain information changes over time. And this is where the trouble begins. Relying solely on memory can lead to mistakes that, at first glance, might seem small. Missing a lunch date or forgetting to call a friend isn't a huge deal. But when it comes to your health, those small mistakes can snowball into bigger, more serious problems. Imagine this. You think you've already taken your blood pressure medication, so you skip it. Or worse, you accidentally take it twice, thinking you missed a dose earlier. This might seem like an innocent mistake, but it could have major consequences for your health. We've all been there, feeling like we've done something right, only to later realize it was the wrong choice. For some, it's hard to admit that our memory isn't what it used to be, that relying on it might not be the best approach anymore. But let me tell you this, writing things down isn't a sign of weakness or slipping. It's one of the smartest things you can do for yourself. It's a way of protecting your well-being, taking some of the mental load off your shoulders, and giving yourself the grace to live with more peace of mind. Take Robert, for example. At 71, Robert had always prided himself on his sharp memory. He managed the family finances, remembered every important birthday and anniversary, and never once used a calendar. But then, something changed. One day, he forgot an important doctor's appointment. A few days later, he missed his morning medication. Not once, but twice. It was a wake-up call. He realized that his mind wasn't functioning the way it used to. At first, he felt ashamed. Like admitting that his memory was slipping was the same as admitting defeat. But after he started writing things down in a simple notebook and set up a few reminders on his phone, he discovered a surprising shift. He wasn't just more organized, he felt more at ease. He described it as if he had finally put down a heavy weight he didn't even realize he was carrying. The truth is, our brains are doing an incredible amount of work every single day. We've accumulated decades of wisdom and life experiences, and it's only natural that our short-term memory would slow a little. That doesn't mean something's wrong. It just means we need to help our brains out a little. Keeping a notebook, setting up reminders on your phone, using a pill box, or posting a calendar on the fridge. These aren't signs of forgetfulness. They're smart strategies for staying in control of your life, without overloading your brain with all those small details. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. What's even more surprising is how freeing it feels to get those to-dos out of your head and into a visible system. When you stop trying to remember everything, your mind becomes clear. It's like a breath of fresh air. The anxiety of forgetting something important melts away, and you're left with a feeling of confidence and control. You no longer need to second-guess yourself, wondering if you've done something or not. Instead, you trust the tools you've put in place, and your mind can finally relax. And when your mind is at peace, everything else just falls into place. Number 6. Avoiding technology entirely. One of the most quietly limiting habits that many people over 70 fall into, often without even realizing it, is completely turning away from technology. And I get it, it can feel daunting. Maybe it seems too complicated, or maybe you've tried before, only to be overwhelmed by a sea of unfamiliar buttons and confusing screens. Or maybe you've simply told yourself, that's just not for me. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking you don't need technology, or that it's something reserved for younger generations. You might catch yourself saying things like, I don't need all that, or I'm too old to learn. There might even be comfort in these thoughts, as they give a sense of security. But let me tell you, those words, as comforting as they seem in the moment, are quietly building walls between you and tools that can truly enhance your life. They make things simpler, safer, and more connected. Here's the thing. Technology doesn't have to mean diving into social media or buying every new device on the market. It doesn't even have to be about keeping up with the latest trends. At its heart, technology is a way to make your life easier. It can be as simple as learning how to send a message to a loved one, setting a reminder with a voice assistant, or accessing your health records online. These tools aren't just fads, they are lifelines. They help you manage medications, stay in touch with family, get emergency help, and find vital information in seconds. By refusing to engage with technology, you may think you're avoiding pressure, but in reality, you're unintentionally increasing your dependence on others. Take Eleanor, for example. She's 77 and used to call her daughter every time she needed to check her appointment schedule or look up a medication refill. Her daughter was always there to help, but over time, Eleanor began to feel more and more dependent on those calls. She wanted to feel more capable. Then one day, her grandson showed her how to use her phone's calendar and reminder apps and how to access her medication refill website. At first, it wasn't easy. There were some missteps, questions, and a few moments of doubt. But after a few weeks, Eleanor found herself managing things on her own that once required several phone calls. And do you know what happened next? Eleanor felt something she hadn't felt in years. Capable. It wasn't about mastering the latest gadget. It was about reclaiming her independence. Every small win with technology added up. Checking the weather, reading messages, receiving medical alerts, or even attending a virtual class. Each small victory was a reminder that she could adapt, she could grow, and she could stay connected with the world around her. You don't need to be a tech genius. All you need is a little curiosity and someone patient to guide you. If you've ever felt embarrassed or frustrated for not understanding something, let that go. We all start somewhere. No one expects you to understand everything right away, but giving yourself the chance to learn, that's where the magic happens. Technology isn't the enemy of aging. It's a powerful partner. The more you open yourself to it, the more you unlock possibilities for a richer, fuller life. As we wrap up, take a quiet moment to reflect on what we've shared. Which one of these habits did you recognize in yourself? Which one surprised you? After 70, the rules do change. And yet, no one hands you a new playbook. It's easy to fall into routines that feel safe, but those very routines can slowly wear away your health, independence, and peace of mind. But here's the truth, it's never too late to change course. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. Just by identifying these 6 habits and making one small change, you can experience more clarity, energy, and confidence. Whether it's adding a bit more movement to your day, adjusting your diet to suit your needs, or finally learning how to use that new phone, remember this, you're not falling behind. You're moving forward with purpose. Aging doesn't mean stepping aside. It means stepping up with all the wisdom you've accumulated, using it to shape the next chapter of your life into something lighter, steadier, and more fulfilling. Let's move forward, together. Thank you so much for watching and taking the time to reflect on these important habits. So, what have you learned so far? Which of these insights resonated with you the most? I'd love to hear from you. Comment below with one thing you've learned today and how you plan to put it into practice in your own life. Remember, small steps can lead to big changes. If you liked this video and found it helpful, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Together, we can continue this journey of growth and empowerment. Take care, and see you in the next video.